Is now a good time to buy or should you wait? Before we talk about whether or not it's a good time to buy, let's talk about what's really going on in the market, not just what you hear in the headlines. Right now, buyers feel stuck. They're hearing the market's going to crash, rates are going to plummet. They're even hearing, hey, you should probably just hold off and wait. Let me tell you what's really going on, especially here in Cherokee County. Inventory has improved greatly over the last few years, but it's still pretty limited. What that means is you're not seeing a ton of houses hit the market, but you're also not seeing prices crash either. What you are seeing is a market that is balanced out. Buyers have a little more breathing room, sellers are a little more realistic on price, and negotiations are back on the table. This is not the craziness that you saw in 2020 and 2021, but it's also not the crash from 2008 either. And in a normalized market, finding the right strategy is a lot better than trying to wait for the perfect timing. Now let's talk about the market from a buyer's perspective. Compared to the last few years, buyers are in much better position. You're not competing with a bunch of offers. You're not being rushed into a quick decision. We're seeing sellers contribute towards closing costs, buying down rates, offering home repairs, things that were unheard of a couple years ago. Buyers have more time to think, make the right decision for them and their family, and not feel completely rushed and like they're just winging it throughout the entire process. That doesn't mean houses are all a great deal right now, but it does mean that buyers that are realistic and prepared have the leverage. And in this market, leverage is far more important than trying to guess what the rates are going to do and when prices are going to drop. Now let's look at this from a seller's perspective. Homes are still selling, but it's not what it was a couple years ago. Buyers are a lot more cautious nowadays. They're taking their time and they're not willing to just pull the trigger on the first house they see. What that means is pricing and presentation is what matters. Overpriced homes are sitting, but homes that are priced correctly and are show ready move quickly. We're also seeing buyers come out of the gate pretty strong, even on houses that have just been listed. They're asking for closing costs, money off the house, and then when we get into the inspection periods, they're also asking for repairs. This is a pretty big shift from a few years ago. This isn't a bad market, it's just a different market. And sellers who understand that and adjust their strategy are the ones that are having success in this market. So when you look at both sides, sellers and buyers, the real question is, how does timing play into this? There is no perfect time of year to buy or sell a house. There's just different times of year where you, the buyer, or you, the seller, will have different leverage. The winter months are usually less competitive, so usually sellers are more likely to negotiate during those months. There's fewer buyers out there to compete with. In the spring, more houses hit the market, which means you have more options, but it also means there's more competition. Now, the summer months tend to be the most competitive time of year because most families, when they're buying, they want to buy before the new school year starts in August. And so they're trying to get everything worked out in late May, June, and July. And then once school starts, things tend to slow down as you enter into fall and start pushing towards the winter months. The key takeaway to this is it's not as much about the timing as it is the preparation and the strategy behind it. So the big question, should you buy now or should you wait? And the answer is, it's less about the market and more about your situation. If you're financially stable, you have good income, you found the perfect house, you're planning on staying there for a few years, the market really doesn't matter, right? It's the perfect time for you to potentially buy or sell. On the other hand, if you're unsure, you're bouncing around jobs, or you might be relocating soon, then it might be best to wait, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've had several clients that we've worked with for multiple years who just haven't found the right time, but are always curious of what's going on in the market and just waiting for that right opportunity for them, not the market. The biggest mistake people make is trying to time the market and not timing their lives. Good decisions come from clarity, not fear. If you're thinking about buying a home and want to buy a house without a lot of pressure, download our free home buyer guide. It walks you through the entire process step by step so you can make a confident decision, whether that's buying or waiting. If you have a question about a specific situation that you're in, feel free to reach out. We're here to help.